You limit everything that she knows about you. She has zero to no access. She doesn't have the answers that she would like. She doesn't have the answers that most women have when they're dealing with most guys nowadays, because most times the answer is given because a man is showing his true feelings. A man is invested, right? A man simply could be you. Done things for that woman to make her feel like, okay, well, there is no curiosity. There is no worry. What is up, my BBossBaddies and my bad fellas? It is your girl Bosana and welcome BBossArmy. So today, fellas, we are going to be talking about why no contact works so well. But in this video, I want to start switching things up on my channel, and you guys might have seen things changing a little bit. This is just how we're starting off with bringing stories up, and maybe we'll do lives one day. But you guys can go ahead and send your stories if you would like me to do a video where I could just talk about it. Of course, your names and all that details and things like that won't be added where it's going to be identified. So moving forward, you guys, if you would like to actually have a one-on-one consultation that will be recorded to post on here and help out other people, then you can go ahead and still email me. Aside from that, I'm really ready to get into the story. The story goes like this. The girl I was talking to started talking different, ignoring my text. And if I hesitate, if I change like names or anything like that, it's simply because, you know, I don't want nobody to know the person for real, right? The girl I was talking to started acting different, ignoring my texts, etc. I fell all the way back, no contact. Perfect, as you should. If she's giving you that, she's holding back, you gotta hold back, or you should hold back 10 times more than what she's doing, okay? She tries to get my attention, still watches my story heavy. It's been a few months, even has her friends watch from time to time. Fellas, I'm gonna have to stop because this is the best way to help you. Like, this proves the point. They will get to a point of having their own friends, their girlfriends, the ones you probably know about or you never maybe heard of. They might make their friends make a fake page. Maybe that woman herself will make a fake page. But ultimately, they're trying to get access, trying to know what you're doing, trying to make sure that you're not moving on, having her curiosity wandering because she doesn't have the answers that she would like. She doesn't have the answers that most women have when they're dealing with most guys nowadays, because most times the answer is given because a man is showing his true feelings. A man is invested, right? A man simply could be you. Done things for that woman to make her feel like, okay, well, there is no curiosity, there is no worry. And so this kind of relates back, and this is why, you know, I love doing my separate videos. We'll always do our advice because we can go into details. But before I go back into a story, I just want to say, this is why it proves the point of how women will, maybe she was interested, but might not say they're interested, might not be about you and all these things. But when you do no contact, this is what shows that even if you were the worst guy, these things just work naturally. And most times it's the things that you did before. Now, let me just say this, because this is very important to say. When you're doing no contact, you guys should just feel like, okay, you know what? I'm doing it because I'm now moving on and I'm trying to give her obviously a message. But your end goal shouldn't be that you need her to want to know more, or you don't want her to want the curiosity because you're forcing it on her. What you're trying to do, fellas, and this is why no contact will work, is that you limit everything that she knows about you. She has zero to no access. Most times it just takes, fellas, you guys not to speak to her for her not to know anything. And so you have in a lot of situations where women will have their friends reach out to them. And honestly, last thing, in other situations where they'll reach out themselves and reach out not necessarily actually speaking to you, but watching you. And sometimes making the fake pages, lurking you in other ways. Okay, back to his story, fellas. I really had to get it out, okay? But I'll read this story through for all my fellas, and not everybody watches until the end, but at least hopefully we're getting some good feel of how no contact works. So she tries to get my attention, still watches my story heavy. It's been a few months, even has her friends, we're going back, watch from time to time. I have to post on IG every blue moon, right? Because of my business, but, and I'm saying you should already be, but when you're trying to do the no contact, it helps. Business, but long story short, I reached out to her friend today after months, but that's just to give her some merchandise to take pictures in. Did that mess up my no contact up with the girl I like that's been watching me heavy? All right, so fellas, I will stop there. That is a great question. It is kind of a long story. With the stories, I probably will do maybe part 2s, or maybe I'll break it down, just kind of depending how long it takes to, you know, get the message out of how it really works and whatnot. Okay, so the question, like he said, did he mess up the no contact? Yeah, fellas, are you getting my vibe? Yeah, okay. He did mess up the no contact, okay, by hitting up the friend, right, for the merchandise, to take the pictures for the merchandise. No contact. Fellas, listen, you can't break no contact rules. Now, I've done no contact videos, but I feel like fellas don't want to listen to that part because it's the harder part, right? I could tell you why it works well, where you guys can do the things that you could do that makes it easier for you to do no contact, right? You should already be on your purpose. That's what, you know, most women would expect. You should already be hitting the gym or being healthy or trying to live a healthy lifestyle. So those basic things, that's just not reaching out, especially to somebody that she knows, is a rule breaker that a woman, even if she doesn't want to think otherwise, she will. And it's because, okay, well, it relates back to her. So if we eliminate, and think about it this way, this will make a lot of you fellas understand this way much more. If you eliminate the ego, if you eliminate beauty, if you eliminate aesthetics, you know, enhancing your beauty type of thing, if you eliminate the surgeries and plastics, you know, just anything that could make that parent get what she wants, right? That's ultimately it. Maybe natural beauty, you can say. I'm more so talking about modern day, what's working in the modern day. Once you eliminate all that, right, okay, what is that woman gonna feel? She's not going to feel like, okay, well, I should know these things, right? She's not going to feel like, okay, well, you should be trying to reach out to me, right? With no contact, when you go ahead and mess it up with having a friend reach out to her, she feels she should have every reason to know why you have a friend that she knows talking to you. Why are you reaching out? Simply just to somebody she knows. She's feeling like, okay, well, you say you don't like me, or this is no contact, but please, that's a lie. Every guy I know, he literally will reach out to me and do what you were doing, or do what you're doing, right? So it's down to, you guys might say, okay, well, I'm not actually reaching out, so I should want her, or actually get her. It's not actually the end goal of you guys actually wanting her, right? You guys are saying this in your head, right? But it's a lie, and she knows it. So what proves the point is that women out here, they feel entitled due to the reasons why they feel like they're entitled, because it works, because this is what they get, because happens every single time. So you guys might not feel like you should be at fault, and this is why I say he was wrong. He did break no contact. He did mess it all up. Yes, I'm sorry. If you're watching, I hope he's watching till the end. I hope you guys are watching till the end. He did mess it up, and this is why it proves the point, because listen, the prettier, the better, the more, like I've said, all these things that modern day type of things work, the harder it is, but it's because what they could get. And so if you guys feel like it's not right, the only way you guys can look at it, and it's more from like, you got to be more red pilled, because if you don't like this view, you don't get yourself involved in women. You don't keep trying to deal with women. So you guys have to look at it as in like, okay, well, if I'm at the lowest, at the bottom, we don't look at it no more as in, okay, well, she should be holding me down. She should be there for me. Fellas, it is no longer that with women. And so, sadly, to break it down to you guys, so we can go ahead and wrap up, what's really happening is that you guys might be feeling like women are asking for too much, but their bare minimum is always going to be their bare minimum. So, at this point, y'all got to take a woman's bare minimum to be just make sure you at least have that. I'm sorry, I was trying to find a way to say it in a not so harsh way, because it's how women feel. Like, there's no other way around it. It's rude, it's harsh, it's difficult, but in the same sense, it's like society is asking for something that you should have to find within yourself and not find in a woman no more. You shouldn't be going back to that woman. You shouldn't, you see, reach out to her friend, right? Now, the point is, with his story, he could have not thought that it was a problem. He could have felt like it was nothing wrong with that. And I will totally agree to that sense. But I find it a problem where, you know you shouldn't have, but you're doing it while thinking like, okay, well, who cares? So it's like, if there is any sense or like doubt or like, oh, I don't know, that urge, that gut feeling of like, I shouldn't, that's the times where you can't feel bad for doing something. Like, well, dang, I messed up no contact because of this. Or, oh, dang, you know what? I really like her. I really am into her. And you know what? I can move on. But, you know, it won't help me to just message a friend. You can't do that because now you're dealing with yourself. And so this is how I'll wrap up with this video. Y'all want a part 2? Let me know. Of course, I'll continue with the story. It's pretty long. So next video or sometime soon, we'll do the rest of this video. So, excuse me. So now I want to wrap up with, when you're dealing with no contact, fellas, put yourself in your own lane at this point. When you are a red-pilled man, understanding how women move, then you'll know when to not deal with that woman, when you shouldn't be dealing with women in general, okay? So it's as simple as a lot of fellas, they're not truthful to how they feel. Once women leave you in this lane by yourself, and this is at the point where you might have been in no contact, but guess what? You're not speaking. So once this woman is in a lane of not reaching, no communication, the battle is not with this woman no more. It's not with anything else. And so a lot of fellas are doing no contact not only wrong, but they're half-assing it. They're trying to work around it. But no contact is strictly not having that contact between her, not having any way to reach out, any communication, like I was saying, right? All those basic things of, you just know, delete that number. If you have to block it, block it. But all those things right there is enough for a lot of fellas to already say in their head, to say to themselves that, okay, well, this is battles between me and myself and my inner self within myself. So I gotta say, okay, well, I'm not gonna speak to her. I'm not gonna reach out to her friends. I'm not gonna have any communication because I can't. I know I still have a little wound. I know I just got involved with her and we just broke up. Or it's been months, but I know this can lead to her trying to reach out to me, right? So it's almost down to, fellas, avoid the hassle, avoid the headaches. Avoid what's gonna come when you're trying to reach out to her. Avoid what else is to come when you're trying to reach out to her, fellas. There's so many different ways you guys can save yourselves, and save yourselves in a sense of like just headaches, like I said, and not having to work harder than you should as a man. So last things we can go ahead and say to wrap up, if you haven't given this video a big thumbs up, but go ahead, of course. But I wanted to say, last thing I want to say is that, fellas, you want to work smarter, not harder with women. With no contact, if you could just have that strength to say, I'm not going to reach out to nobody that has access to her, like her friend, especially when you have a woman showing you that she's still trying to have contact, right? Maybe the friend thing could be a real sign that she's still watching or getting information from the friend. That's another thing I didn't talk about in this video. So your whole idea is that you want to work smarter, not harder. So if you wait out, especially when you notice what's going on where there is the possibility of no contact is really working, then once you wait out, you don't have to go with the consequences that would come later on because you couldn't hold on. So if that makes sense to you guys, I hope it does. But it's as simple as, you're gonna save yourself just not speaking to her, not giving her any access to you, instead of giving her just that little bit from reaching out to a friend or anything and then just ruining it. And then we have fellas that have to start all over. Then we have, you know, the type of thing where you could call it a relapse, right? Or where you're just going in cycles, right? Or it's just done. She might just cut you off at this point, fellas. Yes. So it will get to that point for a lot of fellas out here. And please, fellas, don't let it be you. Okay, so that is it for this video. I told y'all there's going to be more to come like this. We are definitely going to do a part 2. And yes, y'all let me know if you want another version. And bye, you guys.